Hey guys, so today we're going to discuss how to choose the best location for your Airbnb. So, what are the most profitable locations and how to find out? So, let's get into the research that we need to do to be able to make the right decision when getting your short term rental. So, the first step is choosing the best city. Here's how we're going to choose the best location for your Airbnb. All you have to do is go to airdna.co, create a free account, and look at the map of the United States and figure out, okay, what cities are making the most income or what cities am I most interested in, maybe because of a close proximity to your location. If this is your first short-term rental and you live in a decent city that makes decent income with short-term rentals, I do recommend getting one close to you so you can just be more hands-on in the beginning, unless you already know you want to get a property management company. But if you want to be hands-on and do everything yourself, it's a lot easier if you start off with something that's close to your home and your location. AirDNA makes this so easy for you. So what they do is they integrate, real host Airbnb calendars into their system, and they're able to see what people are earning, in each city, and also what their occupancy rates are looking like. Based on that income, what they do is create a score for you. So you can actually see a score of how each city is doing, 0 through 100. And you can see, okay, how is the occupancy rate in this area? What is the income looking like in this area? So you'll be able to make a really good decision. I do think that income is a good determining factor for figuring out whether or not you want to be in a certain city to see if it's worth it for you. And your next step is to select a city. So based on this information that you find on airdna.co, go ahead and select the city that you feel is best for you based off of, where you're located and what the income could potentially be for your Airbnb. Once you have your favorite city selected, now you're going to have to figure out, are there short-term rental restrictions? Short-term rental restrictions could mean a lot of things. So it can mean that you're required to obtain a permit or a license for your short-term rental. It can mean that you're not allowed to do short-term rental, period, in that city or the county. It could also mean that the owner is required to live at the property for a certain amount of time for each year. So, say it could be like a minimum of 6 months per year the owner has to occupy the short term rental, and then the other 6 months you're allowed to, short term rental it out. In order to figure this out, the first step is figuring out what is the zoning of the property. So, is the property zoned for the city or for the county? You've got to first figure out whether or not your property is zoned for the city or the county. Because, for example, if, Fulton County, Atlanta, Georgia, if Fulton County stops allowing short term rentals, that does not apply to Atlanta, Georgia if the property is not located in Fulton County. So if your home property address is Atlanta, but it's not located in Fulton County, then Fulton County, Atlanta, Georgia's regulations don't apply to your home. So you've got to figure out, do these regulations apply to your property? In order to figure out whether or not the property is zoned for the city or for the county, you've got to contact your zoning department, which is what I recommend doing. And, all you have to do to figure this out and how to contact them is put the city in the Google search bar and then put zoning. So, for example, you would put Atlanta zoning, and then you will be able to see what pops up is, the Atlanta zoning department. You'll be able to call them and ask them, hey, is my property zone for the city or for the county? So once you know whether or not it's the city or the county, you're going to want to look up the code of ordinances for that city or county. And in code of ordinances pretty much states any regulations for that city or county, so you can look them up yourself. I don't even recommend asking the zoning department. You can, but sometimes they're not even up to date on the, new regulations in their city. So it's a even better idea to look them up. You can ask, your zoning department, but you can also look it up yourself just to, make sure. I've literally contacted people in zoning and they say they don't know if there's any rental restrictions. And I'm like, how do you not know that information? You work in zoning. So it might be easier to just look it up yourself, but yeah, you can, decide to do both to be double safe. So let's say that you figure out your property zone for the city and it's Atlanta. What you're going to do is type in that city plus code of ordinances in the Google search bar. So Atlanta code of ordinances, for example. Once you've opened up the code of ordinances, you can type in short-term rental, enter, and then you'll be able to see if there's any short-term rental regulations in their code of ordinances. Some cities or counties might use different language. They might say vacation rentals instead of short term rentals. You also might want to type in Airbnb. And if nothing pops up and you've typed in all these, keywords that should pop up, if nothing pops up, in the code of ordinances, that usually means, okay, there are no short-term rental restrictions. I would say 99.9% of the time, that means there are no short-term rental regulations. Now, what you can do in that case is contact zoning and say, hey, are there any pending new short-term regulations that might go into effect soon? That's what you can try to figure out as well. But yeah, that's how you're going to figure out, are there short-term rental restrictions, in your city or your county. Thanks so much for watching, y'all. I hope you were able to learn something. I hope you got something valuable out of this. Now, feel free to go ahead and follow me on social media because I'm going to spill the tea. I'm going to tell y'all a lot of information, what you can learn in this business. So there's a lot more than what I've just said today. So go ahead and follow me. I have TikTok, YouTube, Instagram at Serena Orr, and I'll be happy to just share some more information with y'all so y'all can learn even more. Go ahead and watch this video about 6 things that I wish I knew before starting in the short-term rental business, y'all, because there are some mistakes that I made. So watch this video so you can avoid those same mistakes.